Welcome to the forest industry of Kentucky. This is an industry rich in heritage that has helped build America. Mills in the eastern United States, including Kentucky, lead the world in industrial hardwood timber production. America also leads the world in timber conservation, protecting forest resources while providing the world with the wood and paper products it needs. You've joined over 1 million people currently working in the eastern forest products industry. It's a proud way of life. Welcome. As a new employee, you must learn about sawmill safety. Safety begins in your work assignment and includes personal protection such as eye, foot, and hearing protection, maintenance procedures required by OSHA, and your own responsibility for safety. First, you need to know about the place you'll be working. All sawmills are not alike. Presented today are the basic components of most mills. The best tour of a mill follows a log as it travels through the mill and becomes fresh-cut lumber. Safety regulations and procedures will be noted throughout. The log yard is the area for receiving and unloading logs. The handling of logs is one of the most dangerous procedures in the wood industry. It's not hard to figure out why. Look at these logs. The logs are not all the same shape or size, and they will not stack evenly like a deck of cards. With this much weight, it's a job meant only for machines. There are many safety concerns in the log yard. This area should be avoided. Logs received are placed in log piles by large forklift loaders according to length, grade, and species. This area is a very dangerous place to be on foot. You could be crushed by a falling log, or you could even be run over by a loader driver who doesn't know you are there and can't see you. From the driver's seat, it's very difficult to see anyone on the ground. Avoid this area unless you have a specific assignment such as inventory, and the driver knows you are there. Being in the wrong place at the wrong time is a common problem for new employees. Accidents can be avoided if you stay in your assigned workplace. You should not work alone. Stay within sight of another worker. This is the debarker log deck. Here, logs are fed to the debarker. Be aware that logs do not tend to roll in a straight line. They could roll off of this deck from the side or from the end. Keep your distance. Remain aware of your surroundings. A debarker is a powerful machine that removes bark. You might be assigned to a debarker that looks like this, or one like this. They all have the same purpose. It takes a sure hand at the controls to prevent destroying the log and the machine. As the bark is removed, it's carried out of the mill by conveyor belt or chain sweep. Bark is a useful byproduct that is often processed into mulch. The bark and sawdust piles pose a potential fire danger. No smoking is allowed in these areas. Any spark-producing maintenance, like welding or grinding, requires before and after wet down. Your supervisor will explain your company's fire prevention policy and show you where the fire extinguishers are located. If use of an extinguisher is required, remember to always point at the base of a fire. It works much better that way. After debarking, the log is ready for the head saw. Here you see a 56-inch circle saw. Quite large, but it is a precision machine. Dirt and stones often found in the bark can cause serious damage, which is why bark is removed first. There are two commonly used head saws, circle saws and band saws. Both require a high degree of skill and experience to operate. Eye protection is required for a work position that exposes a worker to flying debris, like the wood chips or sawdust produced by saws. Your vision is precious. Don't take chances. Use the correct eyewear for the job. One of the jobs you might be assigned to is the off-bearing at the head saw. This position assists the sawyer by keeping the head saw clear of slabs and making sure that the boards and flitches move down the line. In some mills, this position may include operating an edger or flipping the boards over for the edger as the board goes down the line, hence the name flipman. The large, powerful machinery used in a sawmill generates noise as loud as a jet engine taking off. This is hazardous noise and requires safety protection equipment. If you can't hear normal conversation at an arm's length, you are in hazardous noise, and ear plugs or ear muffs must be worn. Leaving the head saw, the board travels to the edger. Running an edging machine requires some experience and skill to do it well. The purpose is to improve the quality and value of that board by cutting straight edges. A common danger with edgers is kickback, which is when the saw propels a board back at the operator at a high speed. When operating an edger, always be sure that the anti-kickback fingers are in good condition and stay in contact with the board. You may operate a swing saw, pop-up saw, trim saw, end trimming saw, or a drop saw. They all have certain things in common, like pinch points. Pinch points, where the belt meets a pulley or a chain meets a gear, are hazardous and must be covered by a guard. Always replace the guard after maintenance. Pinch points are everywhere. Belt or roller conveyors, drag chains, or just about any moving equipment presents a danger to human flesh. Long hair, loose clothing, and fingers can be caught and wrapped up, causing severe injury. Be aware of your surroundings. Familiarize yourself with the location and contents of the first aid kit. Your supervisor will introduce you to the person responsible for first aid in your area. After edging, a board may be further processed to a desired length by a single or double end trimmer. After edging, trimming, and grading, the board moves to the green chain. The green chain moves slowly, allowing time for the workers to sort and stack the lumber. Notice here how these workers pay attention to building neat and straight bundles. This job is not as simple as these fellows make it look. Correctly stacked bundles are important for safe handling and storage by forklifts. Stacking lumber can be strenuous. If you don't learn proper lifting techniques and warm up before working, there are plenty of opportunities for muscle strains. Just like professional athletes, you need to stretch and condition your body to avoid injury. It's your responsibility to be ready for work every day. After lumber is neatly stacked, it is banded before the loader can move the bundle. Neat stacking and proper banding is a must for safe loading. Be sure to wear gloves and eye protection for this task. Banding has sharp edges and can easily ruin your day. The lumber will be picked up for delivery to secondary manufacturers or wholesale yards. Good bundles are appreciated by your customers. The waste of the milling process, such as slabs and edging strips, are conveyed to the mill chipper. Here, the waste is processed into other valuable products. Chippers produce a uniform size chip of wood required for making the paper we use every day. In the shaker, chips are screened from the sawdust and oversized debris. The chips and sawdust are blown into separate vans for delivery as fiber chips, or in the case of sawdust, for use as boiler fuel. Routine maintenance is a part of the job, such as changing the saw blades, greasing the bearings, or perhaps changing the bearings. Employees must be alert to the conditions of the tools they use. Watch for worn hand tools, such as mushroom-headed chisels, chip screwdrivers, frayed power cords, and ungrounded plugs. Your supervisor or trainer will work with you on these everyday tasks, but remember that you will be working with these tools, so you need to inspect them before using them. Regardless of the levels of maintenance, all machines should be deactivated and made harmless before maintenance is done. You must wait for the machine to stop. This is a requirement of OSHA and is called lockout-tagout. Your supervisor will provide detailed training. It requires that all forms of energy be disconnected from the machine. This means electric power, hydraulic power, and air power must be shut off and locked out with special locks. The machine has to come to a complete stop. Test the on-off switch to be sure the machine is safe and stored energy has been released. Don't forget to depressurize the hydraulic and air line. Now that the lockout-tagout procedure has been performed, a routine maintenance procedure such as changing the knives in the milk chipper can be performed. This is a hazardous little job that should never be treated lightly. These men are careful about their footing and where they place the tools, ready at hand. Note the respect given to these sharp edges. Finally, job done, but we have a minor injury. Did you notice the small cut on the worker's hand? This is a good time to discuss reporting injuries. Learn your company's rules for reporting an accident. Proper reporting is essential to good safety. If you don't report it, whatever caused the accident can happen again. It is important that you report every injury regardless of how minor it may be. Even a minor injury can develop into something more serious. Reporting an accident is never held against a worker, but failure to report one will generate many questions and place you in a compromising position when later filing for worker compensation. Insurance fraud is a serious matter. Avoid the appearance of fraud by following the rules and reporting promptly. You, the employee, and your employer are both responsible for safety on the job. As you continue your orientation, note these basic points of sawmill safety. Take responsibility for your safety. Understand your work area and how you fit in it. Wear personal protective equipment. Know what you need and how to get it. Know the hazards of the job. Know your company's safety rules. Follow first aid and accident reporting procedures. OSHA rules and regulations include worker responsibilities. Worker compensation laws require workers to follow these rules. Worker compensation can be denied or reduced if willful, unsafe behavior can be shown on the part of the employee. If safety procedures are followed, working in the hardwood forest industry can be a long and fulfilling work experience. Welcome to a growing industry, rich in heritage, that continues today to supply America and the world's demand for wood and paper products.